Hi foodies, how you doing? Today I'm making some plantain tart. Let's get into it. So the first thing we need is very ripe plantains. So you see if you have some in the kitchen, you can always use them up for this recipe. So you're simply going to peel it and then we are going to boil it. Now plantain tart is one of those nice sweets that we have in Jamaica and we do it different ways, and there is a particular um, pastry shop that I used to go to when I was growing up, and I loved the way they did their plantain tarts. So I'm gonna try to do it that way. Alright, so we're gonna boil the plantain, get it nice and tender. You don't have to cut it up small like this, you can even cut it in just halves, but all you're doing is boiling it until it is tender. Once the plantain is cooked, then just drain it and then we're gonna mash it. So some people actually do all of this on the stove with the sugar and the other ingredients I'm gonna add, but you can do it in a bowl as well. So traditionally, we color the plantain with either a pinkish or reddish food coloring. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Of course, it is optional, but this is how I always saw it. Growing up, it always had that color. So get your food coloring and add as much as you desire. You can make it pink, you could make it red. Just be careful because there are some brands of food coloring that get bitter when you add too much. So just be careful with that. And then I'm going to add a little almond extract. Remember that this goes a long way, so just a little bit. So this is good to go. Just let it sit, or you can put it in the fridge if you want to do it the next day. So I have my puff pastry thawed out. I've had plantain tart with shortcrust pastry, rough puff pastry, flaky pastry, and puff pastry. So this was in my freezer, so of course I'm just gonna use it. So it's thawed out, and then we're just gonna roll it out. Many people make this using shortcrust pastry, which is a little more, crumbly than flaky or puff pastry, but I prefer my plantain tart flaky. So that's why I am using this. So we're going to roll this out into a large square, and then we're going to cut it into 4 smaller squares. You could definitely use your knife. I'm just going to use a pizza cutter and just cut it into 4, and I'm sure your lines will be straighter than mine, but it's pretty simple. Just cut it in 4 squares, and then we're going to put the filling in the center. Whisk up a egg wash just to seal things up, right? So we're just going to brush the edges so that we can seal it once we fold it. It is very important that you don't put too much filling because it will seep out, okay? And then we're gonna seal this, so I just gently press all around, and then you can use a fork just to crimp the edges. After that, you can use the fork to prick it, or you could put 3 slits with a sharp knife just to get air out of it while it bakes. So we're just going to place this on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and then we're going to brush it with some more egg wash. This just gives it a nice color. It is absolutely optional, but you get a nice golden color when you add the egg wash. And once it's out of the oven, guys, you can have it as is, or you could dust just some, icing sugar over it. That's one way you can actually serve it. Or you could even put some granulated sugar on it after you put the egg wash on. But it's really tasty, guys. And let it cool down because the filling is very hot. But this is so simple and delicious, and you get to use up any overripe plantains that you might have at home. That is why I really love this. So once it cools, you open it up and you will taste how wonderful this is. So I'm just gonna break into this to show you guys. Look at that. It's super flaky. This is how I like it. I really like it like this. And it's cooled down. It's so delicious. Now I've seen people actually add raisins and coconut to this. So let me know what you think and if you've ever tried that. And let me know how it turns out when you try this plantain tart recipe. It's so easy. You are gonna love it. Till next time, take care, guys.